Hello, and welcome to the Art of Selling Online Courses. We're here to share winning strategies and secret hacks from top performers in the online course industry. And I'm joined today by my fabulous team, Monica Badiu and Josip Belina. And we're going to be talking about some recent results that people have got and why it is that people don't always believe the results when we tell them. They think it's too good to be true. And then what we're doing about it to make it much easier to work with us. So welcome to the show, guys.
Hello.
It's great to be here again.
Talk to me about some recent results. What can we talk about from different clients?
We can talk about that 2 or 3 out of all of our clients last month had their best months ever.
Nice.
We've had some of them for more than a year now, and last month was very, very good in terms of course sales. It's probably because of combining all the efforts that we did in the last year or so. So yeah, that was good.
I would mention that these results, at least for one of our clients, have been generated using the same 2 courses that we promote each month. And I think that's something we really need to mention.
When you say it's the best months ever, what's the increase for those guys from when we started working with them to now in terms of percentages or revenue or whatever we're allowed to say for them?
We are allowed to say for Lucy. When it comes to the percentages, the problem is if I say it, people are not going to believe us. But
Tell them anyway.
Okay, 28.6x. That's the
That's ridiculous, isn't it? Okay. So Lucy's gone up 28.6 times from what she was making before she started working with us. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to be the limit?
No, we've only just started, basically.
Okay. What's any of the other ones in terms of the increases, either increase in revenue or percentage?
Percentages, 3.2x for Cody,
Mm-hmm.
I think from when he started working with us. And then for another done-for-you client, about 2.8x increase from when they started working with us, but it's a done-for-you client. So it was a lot higher when we started. They were making more money than our normal consultancy clients. So 2.8x increase is actually in monetary value a lot more than 28x increase for Lucy. So overall, we are talking hundreds of thousands of dollars here with all 3 combined.
Nice.
Yeah, 6 figures.
Per month extra.
Actually, yeah, almost mid 6 figures now.
Nice. Okay, so here's the problem, right? And people listening may well be feeling the same thing. Whenever I talk to people about this kind of thing, I know that people don't believe me. And I know this for a couple of ways. One, when someone starts working with us and I tell them how much more they're going to make, about a month or 2 later, when they start making a lot more money, they tell us, I didn't believe you at the time. They don't mention it at the time because that would feel rude. But once they've started making it and they're like, oh, I believe you now, then they feel comfortable telling me that. Another reason that I know it is because I was talking with a friend yesterday who's known me for years. And he said, I know that you are not bullshitting me. I know that you actually make people this much more money. And yet I still don't believe it because it's crazy. What's some of the other reasons or any other evidence you've seen that people don't believe that this kind of thing is possible?
Main thing is because people have worked with other people before that promise you a lot and then no one delivers. Our industry, online courses and generally online sales, people are going to promise a lot and they're not going to deliver all the time. So especially if you are into marketing yourself, you tend to know that some marketing tactics aren't necessarily always true. So you are reluctant to believe other marketers yourself. I mean, we have the same problem. If someone were to come to me and tell me, hey, I can help you scale by 4 times in 4 months, I'd be like, yeah, how? Why didn't we think of that? The thing with us is that we have a proven model now. So the model that we teach in our instant course sales program is the same one we use for our done-for-you clients, same one we use for our delivery, for our consultancy clients. It's proven now and it works. So we know for a fact that on average, a standard person working with us will have increased their revenue by 468% in the first 4 months of working with us.
I think it's because people don't expect our tactics to be so powerful because they're kind of simple, but very, very effective. And since they build upon each other, obviously it does take a little bit of time for those to get results. So they can't believe this works because I assume they think there must be some kind of a magical, secret, weird recipe for success that only people who, I know, invest
Correct.
tens of billions of dollars every month and they work with like the gurus in the industry and all of that stuff, only they would be able to actually get these results.
It's fun, actually, the way we talk now. It's kind of vague. If someone is listening to us for the first time, they might be thinking that we are creating some sort of a build-up towards something where we'll have a call to action button and then tell people, reach out to us, and then you'll learn how to do all of this. But we've actually shared all the tactics we use in previous podcasts. We share a lot of content. So it's not a secret formula. It's just the way you set it up so that it works. It's having upsells and order bumps, and it's doing email promotions, and it's having optimized top of the funnel lead acquisition source. So people might be thinking, yeah, but what's the secret sauce there? There is no secret sauce there, literally. You have to be consistent at doing the fundamental things right. That's what we preach, and that's what works. People expect an overnight miracles, but in reality, this is a lot of work.
I think one of the things is that nobody really, really believes that the 80-20 principle is true. And I spend a lot of time thinking about this. I'm like, if it's true, and it is, then what does that mean? It means that 80% of the work that you do is almost a complete waste of time. Like maybe that stuff needs doing. Probably it doesn't. If it does need doing, it doesn't make a big difference. And that only 20% of it is going to have 80% of the results, which is crazy. Like it can't be true. It's too weird. It just doesn't fit with the human brain. And what it means as well is because it's fractal, it means that 4% of the work you do brings in 2/3 of the results. And 1% of the work you do brings in 50% of the results. And it's like, so the other 99% is almost not worth doing. And what we did, and it took 2 fucking years to do it, was go through maybe 3 and try every single tactic and measure them and look, how long did it take to do? What results did it get? How did it fit with everything else? How does that fit into the model? Does it fit overall? And so on. Until we found these like 8 tactics that are the ones that work and they all fit together and they work for this very specific group. Like we can't take our model and apply it to just anybody. It's very specific people. It's people who've already got a lot of traffic in an industry where people want to buy courses or info products and they haven't got all this stuff in place. But for those guys, it has this incredible impact partly because we're not doing all the other stuff that's a waste of time. And most people don't know which thing is which. Most people don't know which is the thing that works and which is the one that doesn't. And because we've tracked every single tactic, every single time we've run it for 4 years now, 5 maybe, then it's like, that's how we know what it is. And I see other people doing stuff and I'm like, well, that's a total waste of time. And you're spending 6 months on it. Like it's a complete waste of time.
And we've been guilty of that as well. When
we did it too. Yeah, till we measured it all.
That's why we were able to cut more than 50 or 60% of the workload for our delivery. And our results are now better. And we spend way less time on it.
I think it's about the fact that we started to really ask the right questions and learning how to like say no when people wanted more and more stuff, because we used to do that. But then testing and looking at the data, figuring out how things change whenever we do a thing versus another one, it was easier to kind of, okay, we know these things work. Let's do it now for where your business is at this moment. These are the things you need to scale.
One of the biggest parts of our business now, when we talk to people that ask us, hey, what do we do now? Is just tell them, no, you don't do this. You don't do that. There is a proven system. We've told you what to do. Keep using that. Don't try and reinvent the wheel here. There is no need.
Mm. Yeah, and it's what order to do it in as well, isn't it? Because even if they take one of the tactics that we say to do, if they do it at the wrong time, then that doesn't help so much either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's also about the fact that a lot of people, they don't know their numbers. And the only numbers they know from this industry are about launches in the range of like 7 figures. So when they look at their course, when they look at their audience and their email list is not 100K, they don't have millions of people on their website, they don't show up at, I don't know, Dr. Oz or whatever, they don't have anything to compare their results against. So they don't know what's possible.
Yeah. And so I was there's a business network that I'm in, and somebody asked in there about webinar funnel conversion rates. And there's another guy in there who does stuff around launches and marketing and funnels and all this kind of thing. And his response was, overall conversion rate around 1% is good. And it's like, but that's not how they work. It's true. Like 1 to 2% of people who originally registered to actually buy the product at the end of the initial funnel when it's at a certain price is good. But you don't understand. It's got to be, well, what's the percentage of them who are going to convert to actually signing up? What percentage of them who are going to turn up? How many of them are going to finish? How many of them are going to get to the sales page? How many of them are going to get to the checkout page? How many of them are going to buy?
Whether the webinar was paid or not.
Right? And how many of them are going to buy the order bump? How many are going to buy the upsell when they get on your list? What percentage of them buy every month after that? What's your cost per lead? What market are you in? What's the price of your course? Like 1%. It's like, it just like, that's how people think. Oh, end of rant.
And we literally track everything. We know for a fact that people that join more than 80% of the Q&A calls in our instant course sales program training group have on average 66% better results than those who don't join regularly.
That's nice. I hope you tell people that when they start.
We do now.
That's good.
We should put that in the group, remind people before every Q&A call, tell them, if you choose not to participate, it's going to impact your results.
You're going to get 66% less revenue.
Yes.
Okay. So if someone's listening to this and is thinking, well, that's all nice. You just bigged yourself up and your system and how clever you are and all of this, but I'm still not completely convinced. Like, how do I know that you guys really believe it? Lots of people make bold claims. What are we doing now? Because we're changing our model because we're so confident about the results that we get. We're so confident. How are we changing our model to reflect that?
Basically, we're not asking for money up front. If someone wants to work with us, and after the audit process and after we've decided and determined that there is potential, if we decide to work with someone, we're not going to take any money up front. We are going to figure out what the benchmarks are and decide on a revenue share model. So basically, we only get paid if there are results. We are so confident in that this is going to work that we can allow ourselves to do that.
So that probably is sounding pretty good to people. But what that means is, I mean, we never were accepting working with just anybody, but that's like a really big deal, isn't it? It's like we cannot take people on if we're not going to get paid. So we won't accept everybody to come work with us.
Yeah, definitely. We do an audit before that. During the audit process, we determine a few things. The biggest one is the potential of the business. So if we can figure out that there is potential in the business, we can definitely help. If there is potential, but not enough for people to work with us, at the end of the audit, people still get basically a roadmap and a way to reaching their ideal funnel. So they can still make tens of thousands of dollars with that just after the audit. But if we determine that someone is the right fit to work with us, that we can help them scale a lot, then in 3 to 6 months, we can help people make 6 figures or more extra compared to what they were making.
Over the 6 months, per month? What do you mean by that?
Well, depends on the person, but it can be per month. It happened before, it will happen again. On average, people have an increase of about 4.5x, so 468%. So depending on where your revenue is now, you can calculate that. So if you are making $25,000, it might be that in 6 months, we can get to about $100,000. It's a pretty big increase.
Fun, isn't it?
Absolutely. And the problem with the 468% is we can't really use it in our front-end marketing because no one believes us. I normally use it during the audits when someone already bought the audit, or during the instant core sales program calls because they were already paying us. But for our marketing, the front-end marketing people, it sounds like a total made-up lie, bullshit. I don't know.
I think it's actually slightly higher. I think it's 486%. We'll have to check.
We'll check.
It's something like that.
It's very hard for people to imagine that kind of an increase. So first of all, many of the online course creators we work with, they are content creators, experts, and teachers, educators. So many of them can't really imagine what's actually possible because they don't have the marketing background or the analytical background or even the business wisdom, let's call it that. So I think that's part of the whole idea. Whenever we tell them, and even with people in our program, we show them the results people get. And we show them like the before and after. And we show them graphs where it goes like this. And it looks surreal, but it's real. It's very, very real.
I think maybe a part of the reason why people don't believe it is because they want to believe it so much because it would be so amazing if it's true and if they could get that kind of result. But then there's the fear of what if they believe it and then it turns out not to be true and then they feel like a fool.
It's a big problem, yeah.
Their hopes let down or something. And because I've had that before where I've believed stuff and I've gone through the program. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, but it only worked for these guys because of that. And I don't have that. And so therefore, and then it's really depressing. And that's, I think, a part of it.
And the biggest issue here with that mindset that our clients have and we've had before is that's going to stop you from reinvesting the money in your business again. And reinvesting the profits. It's probably one of the biggest things that prevent people from scaling once they've already scaled 2, 3, 4x. And once they've reached the $200,000, $300,000 mark, they're afraid of losing that momentum. And because of that, they don't see that investing the profits now is the way to go. So when you've scaled 2 or 3x, when you started making more money, that's not the time when you decide to take the profits out of the business and pay yourself more. Of course, you can pay yourself a bit more. You should pay your team more, but you should make a plan on how to reinvest that profit.
Yeah, work with a mindset coach to begin with. Because really, like we've seen people go from 25K, something like that, to 6 figures over just a few weeks.
We've seen people going from 38,000 to 325 in 3 months.
Exactly. So even when you are experiencing it, it's very hard for your brain to accommodate that huge change because with so much more money, obviously more responsibility, more opportunities, but at the same time, the human brain works by I want to hoard these resources as much as possible. The problem is that if you start hoarding, you stop growing. So yeah, work with a mindset coach.
Yeah. And as the person running the business, I heard from so many people, I say that kind of slowly because I'm like, well, we all kind of run the business together, but it's like, as the leader of the business, it's like, I'd heard a number of people say that the biggest thing that holds a business back is the mindset of the founder. And so I've worked continually with a series of different coaches over the last, 2-3 years, something like that. And just continually gone through personal development courses and worked with therapists and worked with coaches and all this kind of stuff, trying to find, okay, what's the thing that I've got that could hold the business back where I could get in the way, or I could, instead of that, I could unlock it. And like we've more than doubled the business size every year for the last, 4 years, something like that. And I still feel likely that we'll grow faster in the future as we get more, like there's more potential rather than it kind of slowing that down. And I think a lot of that's about obviously you got to do lots of hard work and you got to do all the tasks and you've got to organize everything, which is, Josip's better at that than me, but organizing everything. But like, you've also got to just think big enough and get out of the way and not let that fear stop you.
There is something that's very common among people we work with, most of them being course creators, and that's the imposter syndrome. Even though they are making good money, very good money, even though they have millions or hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of people following, even though they have an email list that's relatively engaged and they get responses from people telling them thank you, at the end of the day, they are thinking to themselves, am I good enough for this? Should I be charging for it? And the first answer is yes, you are good enough because the audience that you have can attest to that. The second thing is mindset might be the thing that's slowing you from potential business growth. So just being aware of that, you don't have to do anything crazy to begin with. Just being aware of that and thinking through what to do to improve your business, who to talk to, just ask questions. I mean,
what are you scared of?
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
When we don't know what to do, we find people that have solved the issues, the problems that we are trying to solve, and we just ask them. Talk to 10 people that have solved a similar problem before, you'll be 80% done with solving it.
All right, guys, let's wrap it up there. So what we've talked through is for certain type of people who've got a bunch of traffic already, organic traffic normally, could be ads, but normally organic traffic, and you've got courses and you're making sales, it is possible on average to 4.68 or 4.86, something like that. We have to check your revenue in like 4 months, 6 months, something in that kind of ballpark. If you don't believe that, we totally understand that. We get that sounds like insanely good. That number will go up over time in future episodes because we're gradually improving the system and, making this whole thing better. We are so confident in it that we only accept money based on results, a percentage of the results that we get for people. And if you're stuck with that kind of thing still, then think about like, what is it that you're afraid of? Where are your fears? Do you need to work with somebody? Do you need to go through personal development courses? Do you need to meditate? Do you need to journal? What does it need to do to let go of some of that scarcity mindset? Because this kind of thing is possible. And if you're not willing to accept that, you're going to hold yourself back.
And talking to us is also an option. We are quite experienced with dealing with that, even though that's not our first thing. But if you want to talk through any of your business ideas that might be, or things that might be holding you back, let us know. Send us an email.
Yeah. If you match that and you want our help, just drop us an email, john@datadrivenmarketing.co. And thank you, Josip. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll talk to you next time.